Hi, today we're talking about a car simulator using JavaScript to create a simple but fun to play game in the web page. So let's dive into the code. In the beginning, we have this canvas document.getElementById. This whole gray part is the canvas part. And then we want rendering the context for the canvas to be 2D. And then we have a car image and define the size of the image, X and Y. And the source is gonna be a picture that you stored in the same project folder. And also the trees. And here we want to use the font base and size to zoom in and zoom out, so the font goes the same with how the page size is adjusted. So the next part is the battery part. So as you can see on the top, we have the voltage, we have a speedometer, and on the right is the percentage of the battery. So we want make the car's battery drops if the cars go, and to detect if there's still enough battery left. And we can store that into a local storage. And well, if you want to open a cheating set where the battery is always on, then we also have a little button here. And the first function, draw cars, draw the image of the car. We have the image file, and then we were gonna use canvas width divided by 2. So the canvas width divided by 2 is right in the middle, minus car image width divided by 2. So it's up to the left. So we're drawing from the left top left, and the height would be the height over divided by 2, and then the car image, the height divided by 2, and then we just draw with the car's height and width. And then we're gonna draw the road. We draw the 2 blue lines over here, and we use the color navy, begin path, move to, so starting from canvas the width divided by 2, and then minus road the width. So it's gonna be here, and then canvas the height. So the height will be up onto the bottom, and then stroke to let it draw. And the same goes with the right side. So plus road width, that's the line, the border on the right side. And draw the trees. We're using the number of trees getting from the distance of the trees. And so the whole height divided by the distance in between each 2 trees, and get the integer from it, and plus 2, which is the ones from the beginning and the end. And then we want a offset, which is the remainder. So if you use card the y modular, the distance of the trees, and you get the remainder, so that you want a trees that's like only having half, or it's not fully appearing on the edge, then you want to eliminate that kind of trees or to push it a little bit forward so it can show the whole image. So then we have a for loop starting from 0 to the number of trees, and then the left side, so you have the tree canvas, the width divided by 2, and then road width, tree image the width, and tree y. And for the left, for the x coordinate, the same thing with the width, that's the center, and then minus the road width here, and then minus the tree image width. So it's starting from the left top side, and then the tree y would be starting from the first tree, I, and then times just the distance plus the offset, and then draw the image. Similar thing to the ones on the right. So plus road width, the instruction. So the instructions on the left, put the color as black and the length of 1 and get the font. Remember before we're trying to resize it so that it's within a ratio, and then put in the text the coordinates of the text, x, and then starting from x equals to 0 and y equals to 30. And this is the second line. And for the speedometer in the middle, we have the circle, the arc, canvas width times 2, so it's right in the middle of the x, and the y is about 70. And then get radius, get the radius you want for each circle, and then starting angle 2 pi, ending angle 0. Start to draw, and this one, the green, and we want put in car velocity so that if you drive the car, it's going to show up the velocity up here. And using this view text function, and the voltage regulator on the left, black, similar to the one in the middle. Using the arc, get the font, put the text center, and here we want to get the range. So if there are still batteries in there, we put 110 volts. Otherwise, it's 0 volts for no batteries at all. And then also to put in the text into the circle. And then the range anxiety, which is the one on the right side, the percentage part. Draw the circle and fill in the text. And if it's true, then we put the battery values percentage over there. Otherwise, it's going to be 0. So the numbers percentage. And the get font, we get a ratio from the font size over font base, and then the size is the canvas width times the ratio, and we clamp it in between 5 and 32, and this is the font style. And similar thing with the get radius, we want to keep it in control between 5 and 45. And then we start to draw everything here, starting from the rectangle of the canvas and fill in silver, which is the background color, and then the road, the trees, the cars, the road, the trees, the cars, instruction, range anxiety, voltage, and speedometer. And now we need to update cars for each frame since the velocity changes. So make sure the car can move, which means it has the battery value defined as true. And if it can move and it uses touch equals to true. If the delta y is less than 0, so which means it's less than 0, so it moves less, then we plus equals to acceleration y. If it's greater than 0, then we minus equals to acceleration y. This is to control like how do you calculate the velocities. So if the delta is less than 0, so we want increase the car velocity. The thing here is because we started from the top, remember, but now but the car is going up. So the more it goes up, it actually decreases the relative y position, if that makes sense. So that's why this is actually we're going forward. So we're increasing the velocity, but in the canvas we're actually decreasing the y coordinates, relatively speaking. And then the other way around. And this is the direction distance between each step. So we want to make this like divided by 10 so that the sensitivity is a little bit smaller, or tenfold smaller. Yeah, so you measure like the relative distance that you put between the new position and the old positions. And the velocity is the same as before. It's just going to be the opposite because of how the canvas is starting from top left side, and so it's going to go like the other way around. And yeah, so if it can move and is up pressed, then the car velocity y would plus equals to car acceleration y. Else, if the car moves and it down is pressed, it's just gonna minus equals to, and then if we're not using touch either and it cannot move, well, basically we use the deaccelerator, which means, well, you basically don't want it to move. And then if can move and is left pressed, and then plus equals to the car acceleration x. This is the y part, this is the x part. And then clamping until like there should be a maximum speed. And also clamping between the road width, you cannot go off-road. And the batteries value cannot go negative. And then for the frame, for each frame, we define the canvas width. It's just going to be the whole page width minus 15, and then update the car, draw the car. Here we have little adding to the touch screen. If you're playing this from your mobile, then we want the document.add-event listener touch start, and an array of change touches. For each touch, we want to get a dot, create element div, add a dot, and this dot is going to have pixels touch the page y, left page x, dot.id, dot.identifier, and then document the body the append. Um, and then we put the initial X and Y position, and then add event listener, touch move, player X and Y, dot the style, the top, the left, and then for the move, which is you get the delta X and Y. That's how you detect the movement between each touch. And then touch end, if it ends, just put this use touch to false and stop moving. And also this false, we'll put this like passive is false, which is to prevent default, so that it won't, if you touch on the screen, it's just gonna manipulate on the card instead of some like the page refresh or things. And also we have a cancel just in case, so you remove the dot. That's a indicator that we used. And also one more thing, if you want to see how the dot can be seen from the web page, yes, there is also the place where this is the tablet part. So you can see it will change to like the tablet, so that you can kind of simulate, is it gonna move, how it's gonna move. This is dot, so it's gonna move as, you know, as what you would do on a tablet. So like otherwise, normally it's gonna show like in the normal sense, like with the keys. So we set up as WASD for the keys, and this is the key down and key up. Then put all of them into false, and then just set intervals for the frame. And that's about it. Hope this is helpful to design a small, funny, interesting game to play, and also practice on JavaScript, which is the backbone of Chrome and every other pages. And I'll link the source code down below in the description. And thanks for watching. See you next time.